Hey everyone, welcome to Keto and Crime. Y'all, I did not want to dip my toe into this one. Not so soon. But after everything that just keeps coming at me about this case, I feel I at least need to make some sort of video. I have people requesting it. And so I'm here to say, I don't know for sure what happened, but people have a right to ask questions because this case gets weird. I'm talking about Carlee Russell.
Well, a woman who disappeared from an Alabama highway has finally turned up unharmed at her home. Carlee Russell had been missing since Thursday night. That's when she called 911 to report a child she saw on the side of the highway. When officers arrived, they found her car, but no sign of her or the child. Her disappearance immediately sparked national headlines. Well, it turns out Russell had walked home. Police were also not able to confirm if there was a child on the highway.
If you're new here, my name is Tracy. I run Keto and Crime. I do a year-round holiday tree, which is now on Patriotic. And I cover true crime, dark history, and movie and docu-series reviews that revolve around true crime and some horror too. So we have a good time over here. But I usually try not to overtly give my opinion, especially when a case is ongoing. I'm more of a one that likes to wait until the case is solved and then do a deep dive on it. But this one is just hanging there and it's juicy and I got to reach out and pluck that apple. So let's dive into it. Carlee Russell. As you probably heard, Carlee Russell is a young lady, college-age lady that disappeared from Hoover, Alabama, which is a part of Birmingham, Alabama, on Thursday night, July 13th, around 10 p.m. It was just one of those things that kind of captured the attention. Basically, this young lady was driving home from her job on Interstate 459 through Birmingham, and she made a 911 call at approximately 9:30 p.m. saying that she had spotted a young male toddler with just a t-shirt and a diaper running along I-459, and she pulled over to help. She then hung up the 911 call, called her brother's girlfriend, and had a conversation with her that ended abruptly with a scream, and then the line was alive for a little bit longer, and then nothing. Hoover police responded within 5 minutes of the 911 call and found her car, which was a red Mercedes, her wig, her purse was in the car, and then on the side of the road, they found no sign of her or a toddler. They did find her cell phone on the road, which would lean to the fact she was on it outside. And until then, nothing. Until the 15th, Saturday, around 10 p.m., when her parents called Hoover police to let them know that she had returned home on foot. They immediately sent the Hoover Fire Department, who took her to UAB Hospital, where she was studying to be a nurse, as a matter of fact, University of Alabama at Birmingham, and then released her later that same night. She is now recuperating at home from what I'm sure was a very harrowing experience. And just today, her parents went on the Today Show to reiterate that the family needs privacy and that the police are still looking for her abductor. Now, that statement there is from her parents, not from Hoover police. Why, Tracy, is this so controversial? Well, it's controversial because there's just a few things that are strange. The police, what does the police have to do about this? Well, they jumped into action. They started an immediate missing persons report. Crime Stoppers of Alabama started an immediate fund request. There were thousands of volunteers offering to go out and look for her and this toddler. And to date, that Crime Stoppers fundraiser has raised over $68,000 that originally they said would be refunded, but now they say it won't because the police have not closed the investigation. Now, you can take that with whatever grain of salt you'd like, but that seems strange now that there's no need for an investigation because she's back, but now they're saying because the police have not closed the investigation, they're holding on to the money in case it's needed. But if this was a legitimate abduction, then the police, they have the tax money of the good people of Alabama to conduct the investigation. That's what police are for. Why do they need that extra money? Because she's back. I would have imagined that if this had ended badly and that she was never returned, or God forbid, remains were found, that money would go to the family for expenses. But that's not the case. So that's weird. But that's not all the weirdness going on here. Police decided to retrace her steps on the 13th, which is the day she disappeared. They said that she left her job at the Summit, which is a mall in Birmingham, Alabama, the Woodhouse Day Spa. She left her job at approximately 8:20 p.m. She ordered food from the Colonnade, which is another nearby shopping plaza, a tzatziki's restaurant. Give her a good taste for food. That's some good stuff. And it appears, according to them, from talking to her co-workers, talking to people at the restaurant, and looking at CCTV footage, that she was alone during this entire almost hour. Then she had communicated with individuals while she was on I-459 heading home, up until the point she called 911 at 9:34 p.m. Again, no evidence that she was followed. Now, where it gets strange is that there's actual CCTV footage of I-459 that shows her taking her Mercedes to the right and driving quite a distance on the shoulder before stopping. And my next clip will be one where I analyze that footage and kind of show you why people are going, All right, everyone, this is actual surveillance footage of I-459, and we're picking up right there with her Mercedes on the shoulder, and I'm looking everywhere for a toddler, and I'm not seeing anything. I mean, this is only a snippet, but I would imagine if a toddler was seen running down the road, that they would have honed in on that and shown us that. But like you said, she's been moving for at least 4 or 5 tenths of a mile until she's now finally coming to rest. And this is the approximate area where her car and all her belongings were thought. But I'm not seeing anything. And also, this is Alabama. I grew up here. I can tell you that if there had legitimately been a toddler running down the road, because no one else saw a toddler, there were no reports of a missing toddler, there would have been all kinds of mama hens and papa roosters all over that child. So this just doesn't happen in Sweet Home Alabama, I'll tell you. And so again, I don't see her exiting the car yet. And again, no sign of a baby, because if she's stopped and that baby's still running, because they had to be running really fast for her to follow along that long. Like I said, this is the reason some people's radar went off about what exactly happened here. Because there's just nothing on the videotape that would indicate a missing child, because they would have put out an APB, an Amber Alert, something. And this is the first thing that went off in my head. Okay, so you got that as hard as I could strain, I could not see any toddler, any object running along I-459. And I also just kind of curious how far she drove that Mercedes. Now, how fast was that child running? I mean, I know toddlers can move fast, but that was really fast. I mean, I never saw any sign of a toddler. The police have also confirmed there were no missing child reports filed during this time period, and there has been no missing child recovered. Also, the fact that she was able to return home, and they did take a statement from her at the hospital, and they are investigating that. The only thing the Hoover police has said is they are continuing to investigate Miss Russell's statements. They are not saying that there's an abductor. They're not confirming there's an abductor or that there was a missing child. They're just saying they're continuing to follow up on her statements. And now the family has come out with a lot of posts asking for privacy. Initially, what started this whole thing off was her brother getting on TikTok about her missing, saying that this wasn't getting proper attention because reasons. If I can find a clip of that, I'll drop it here. But true. It wasn't getting national coverage until his TikTok, and sometimes that happens. There's millions of people that go missing every year in this country of all races, all creeds, and only the select with some interesting twist get the kind of attention that, let's say, a Gabby Petito gets. And it's not because of race; it's because of weird circumstances in a lot of cases. But that's neither here nor there. I'm not going to turn this into political. But basically, thousands of dollars raised in 48 hours, thousands of volunteers looking, and their one person that no one's talking about is that child. Is there a child? Was there a child? And where is that child? That's the person that I'm most concerned about right now. I'm not saying that she didn't go through something, but where is that child? And so that's just a lot of weirdness going on. A lot of people have offered the theory that maybe it was some sort of bait situation where maybe a child that was a child of her abductor was used to bait somebody on the road. And as I had said earlier on that video, that in Alabama, I was raised in Alabama. I know how mama hens are in Alabama. There would have been a gaggle of mothers and fathers on that roadside to get that child. So anyway, that's another reason I wonder if there actually was a child. But anyway, so saying that it could have been a bait where they used her to kidnap her. But again, there was no evidence that she was followed. And why her? Did they just, release a child down the interstate to try to capture somebody? I mean, I guess with all with everything going on, and we know that sex trafficking is a problem, it could have been that kind of scheme where they use a child to bait a woman in for sex trafficking. But again, if that was the case, she was returned. How did she get home? I mean, I don't know very many kidnappers that just have a sudden change of heart and say, let me take you home, let me give you a ride. I mean, we don't know anything. And so the public has the right to ask questions. It's not being racist. It's not being skeptical. It's not being sexist to ask questions, because there's a lot of this that just doesn't jive. And the official police reports kind of back that up, that they're going purely off her statements. I'm not doubting that maybe something happened to her and maybe it was traumatic. And if it was, I will apologize. But there's just too much weirdness in this case not to ask questions. Are we looking at another 𝗪cie𝗹𝗶𝗰 incident? I hope not. I hope we've evolved past that. But, But anyway, that's where it stands. A lot of weirdness. I'll continue to follow this as it develops, and I hope I'm wrong. I legitimately hope I'm wrong. But there's some tingle in the back of my head. The Tracy sense, the Spidey sense is going off, and it's just, there's something weird. There's another layer to this that we're not seeing. And it could be some other fairly innocent thing. It might not have been a hoax, but maybe she had some sort of mental break. And if that's the case, I certainly sympathize with her, and she needs to get the help that she needs. But if it was a legitimate hoax, then she needs to be charged. But in any case, what do you think? Is it that this legitimately happened? Was she kidnapped and just got lucky? Is this some sort of mental break? And I know there's all kinds of rumors going around about her having an affair with a younger man that her parents didn't agree with. It's all just conjecture and gossip. I'm not going to speculate on that, but that is out there. Or was this an out-and-out hoax like Mr. Smollett? So let me know your opinions down below. I'll continue to cover this, and until next time, keep doing crime.